Welcome to Viva Eve's first patient interview. This is Wendy, our gorgeous patient.
Well, thank you so much for having me. My name is Wendy Pierre-Francois, and I am from Freeport, New York.
Well, thank you for coming in today. We are in our Manhattan, Madison Ave flagship location. You are a fibroid patient of ours. It's something that the majority of women deal with, but we almost don't know that we have them. They present differently. I think your story has been really cool to see how you took a chance and found a provider and went for it and changed your life. And so can you talk to me about how this all started?
Okay, well, in the beginning of my fibroid journey, I believe some of the symptoms I was experiencing would be painful periods, along with just pain prior to the cycle actually starting, maybe long extended periods.
Okay.
So I was experiencing that type of discomfort.
How old were you?
I was definitely in my 20s at that point, maybe late 20s, 28, 29.
Okay.
And it was diagnosed with fibroids and was told that I had a few small fibroids, pea size.
And you weren't a patient at Viva Eve yet? This was with another doctor? Okay.
Absolutely. I was not a patient of Viva Eve just yet. I am happy.
And so what happened? I mean, as you dealt with these symptoms, you were told you had small fibroids. Did they talk to you about treatment options, these doctors? What did they tell you were your, potential treatment options at that time?
My treatment options at the time were to take ibuprofen a few days before my cycle was intended or anticipated to start. Those were my management options.
Great. So helpful.
Extremely.
Because we know ibuprofen just fixes everything.
Everything can be fixed with 2 Motrins and call me in the morning, I suppose.
Well, we talked about that actually before the camera was rolling, about believing women in pain. And as a shock to no one, I am not a Black woman, but we know that Black women have a harrowed history with trusting their doctors and being heard and being seen and believed. What has that experience been like for you? And what's it like now?
Well, in the past, you're just told to, listen, everybody experiences pain. We understand that you have pain, but I really didn't feel that my pain was being taken seriously. However, when I approached and found Viva Eve, I felt like Dr. Gohar and the other providers, they believed me, and that helped me trust them. And I trusted that the options that they provided me, my treatment options, were the best ones. And I'm happy that I was able to successfully undergo the UFE procedure. And now I can sit here and say that I am fibroid-free.
Cool. Very cool. You mentioned treatment and treatment options. And so often women are given one option for fibroid treatment, a hysterectomy, but you ended up going with a UFE, which we do here. It's a uterine fibroid embolization. Why didn't you go for the hysterectomy from the other doctor's recommendation?
Hysterectomy sounds insane to me. I didn't want to go through the fact of having a major surgery. And what if I do want to have children in the future at that point? I was still in my early 40s. And I just didn't want to take the risk of having to go into a major surgery or thrown into menopause and be flashing and miserable. So, I still have a lot of life to do, and I'm still a woman that wants to have options available. And hysterectomy would have me out of work or down for about 3 months.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to take that option either. And I was also given the option of having the myomectomy, which is still a major surgery as well. And there is a possibility that fibroids do come back and do grow back. UFE is an option that, when I was educated about it, the likelihood of the fibroids returning was pretty low. And that sounded very appealing to me.
Right. Because it's like less invasive.
Extremely less invasive. And I was able to go back to work in maybe 2 weeks' time.
Okay. That's great. And you're a nurse.
And I am a nurse.
You got important work to do.
Very important.
That's awesome. So tell me about the moment when you went from, okay, I have this pain. These are the options I'm being given. I don't like them. But I imagine something happened when you had to go seek out further care, which is how you ended up as, a Viva Eve patient. What was that incident for you? What did it look like?
Well, you know what? As a nurse, I have to say that nurses are probably the worst patients. And it usually has to take something major to happen for us to go ahead and seek care and to seek action and make a change. And for me, that came in the form of passing out.
You passed out?
I passed out.
Where were you?
I had my daughter with me, and I was in the elevator,
Oh my
And
God.
I had been on my cycle for about 12 days
Oh my God.
and did not realize that my hemoglobin had went down all the way down to a 4 and had to call 911.
Your daughter was with you?
My daughter was with me at the time.
How old was
She
she?
was 2 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And I had to get blood work done. And when I came in immediately, the nurses in the triage said, "Oh, so you passed out and you're on your period, so you have fibroids." I said almost nothing, and I was treated. And upon discharge, I remember Googling fibroid specialists, fibroid experts,
Okay.
and Viva Eve was the first practice that came up and had the best Google reviews.
Okay.
And I was able to be seen in less than 24 hours.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's amazing. And I believe you've seen Dr. Gohar here. He's our founder, and he's obviously super passionate about treating women with fibroids. What's it been like being his patient?
I wish they could just clone him. He is the best, and he was able to provide me with those options. And he leaves your options, it's completely up to you. Completely. He educates you on the options you have, and he definitely advises you, encourages you to make decisions based on your lifestyle and what would be best for you and your family.
Yeah, you're a working mom. You've got other things going on and we tend to deprioritize our health as working moms.
Absolutely.
So it's nice to have a doctor that hears you and hears that part, right? Not just get this treatment, it's a good solution, but does it really fit in with the bigger picture? So I'm really happy that you found us, you found this option for you, and that it worked for you. When it comes to like the women in your life, were you talking about this with them? What's it been like in your inner circle, your community?
Certainly, as a Black woman, many Black women are, experience fibroids. My mother had a history of fibroids as well. And so when I remember explaining the procedure to her, and she said, "Wow, I wish that was something that was available to me 30 years ago when she had to get a hysterectomy."
Oh, wow.
And UFE was probably the best option for me. And I've educated many of my friends, many of my patients that I see.
Yeah.
And I tell them, listen, this is an option, because UFE, I feel, is not a very known procedure. It's not an option that many women even know about, because as soon as they hear fibroids or they're told fibroids, they are faced, or they only think that hysterectomy or pain is the only options that they have.
Yep. I've got one of my oldest friends going through this right now. And in her area, they don't even offer this procedure. And I'm trying to get her to come to New York and do it. And so, you have options. There's more out there for you to think through. So, well, and honestly, with that, if you could go back in time, or if you were talking to your younger self, or even just a young woman today, like to break through the fear, to take care of ourselves and take care of our body, what would you say to that younger Wendy, or potentially, your daughter in the future, like to help her break through the fear and choose her body and her health and choose that joy for herself?
I would say that pain is not normal. Pain is unacceptable, and that you need to continue to seek out and receive the care that you deserve. And with providers like the ones here at Viva Eve, there are people that will believe you. Do your research. And if you don't feel that you're being listened to by your provider, find someone else.
Right.
Someone.
Don't settle.
Don't settle.